So you've just landed your first DJ gig and you're wondering how you're going to connect some of your entry-level equipment up and play in front of people. Or maybe you've been DJing for ages, but you want to streamline your setup, make it more effective, especially for mobile gigs, but definitely effective in the club scene as well. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the simplest ways to connect an external mixer such as this into your DJ gear and why having one of these can benefit you so much. And at the end of the video, I'm going to be revealing one of the best reasons for having an external mixer and why I think you should get one if you're in DJing on any level. So straight away, you might be thinking, why do I even need to bother getting or learning about external mixers? Well, I can say with some experience that unless you're playing very big gigs, there's a very high chance there will be no sound team, very little sound team, or people that don't really know what they're doing. And you got into DJing, which means you take on some responsibility about knowing a little bit about audio. So if you can learn external mixers like these and the simple ways and how they work, you can take this and apply it to pretty much any mixer you might see in a club. So you'll know how to connect your DJ gear to the club system, or you'll know how to connect your DJ gear to the venue system, no matter what that venue is, and you'll understand that little bit more and you won't rely on a sound team to be doing it for you. So why use an external mixer when you're DJing? Well, for entry-level gear, it's the best thing you can do because you can upgrade the outputs. On most entry-level gear, you'll only have one output like this. As you can see here, we've got an RCA. That's the only output we have from the SB3. Now that will be the same across pretty much all entry-level controllers, such as the FLX4, which is the current flagship, the DJ400 before that. They only have one output. Now RCA is fine when you're playing to your small little speakers at home, but if you go to any venue and you want to use their speakers or you want to use a big PA system, it's unlikely you're going to be able to just connect to these speakers via RCA. And if you are, you're only going to have one dial right here to control all your volume, and it's not going to sound very good. And even if you have higher level DJ gear, such as the RX2, the XZ, and even bigger DJ gear, you can still run into an external mixer just to give you that better workflow, because then you can plug other stuff into the mixer. You can put a microphone straight onto the mixer instead of trying to run a microphone from your decks. So you have complete control over the microphone separately to the decks. You can add effects to the microphone without affecting the deck. You're a mobile DJ, and a lot of people will frown upon this, but you can have like a separate channel ready for like requests. You've got another channel free. You can have a phone or a tablet plugged in on the side with Spotify, so you can just queue that song up and play it for them, which without having that channel, you'd have to either try and run it through your decks or you wouldn't be able to use it at all. So it's having that option to do that on the day. So external mixers are an absolute must if you're going into mobile DJing, because like I said, it gives you all these extra things you can do to make the party and the event that you're hosting for the people you're working with, make it even better and you look more professional. In club gigs, it can work just as well, because having the knowledge means if they've got a mixer you need to connect to, it will probably work similarly to the one you've learned. And also if they don't have one, you can bring your own and you can keep all your stuff together. So with some of that explanation out of the way, let's get into how you actually connect mixers to DJ gear. We've got our decks here and our mixers. You can see this mixer is ideal for gigging because it's tiny. Basic mapping for connecting up gears. You've got to come out of your DJ deck into the inputs of your mixer, down the channel, you come out of the mixer to your speakers or your preamps, whatever, and this is your master out. So when you're doing a simple connection like this, you don't need many cables, you just need an RCA. Get a longer one than this. I mean, this is ridiculously short. That's how we're going to connect from here to the mixer and get yourself some master out cables. In the case of this mixer here, we only have 1/4 inch outputs. Now on higher end mixers, you'll also have these sort of outputs, XLRs. But for this one, we only have 1/4 inch, which is absolutely fine because it can still act balanced and unbalanced and have quite a good distance. We all know we can connect to our speakers, so we're gonna go left and right out, and make sure you don't mix up your left and right. It sounds obvious, but make sure the right goes to the right speaker in the room and the left goes to the left. Otherwise, you're gonna get some weird cross signals and people are gonna be hearing it a bit odd. There's normally 3 ways you can connect most DJ decks to a mixer, based on what the mixer and the deck both have available. So you can do RCA, left and right. That's known as RCA. Now we can go RCA to an input on the mixer. We've got to pick a channel with a left and right because we don't want just a single channel, we need both. And in this case, we have 1/4 inch, right? So a 1/4 inch cable is not the same as an RCA. But what you can do is you can get adapters that are going to convert your RCA to a 1/4 inch jack. You can also buy cables that are pre-made, RCA on one side and 1/4 inch jack on the other one. I don't actually have one handy, but there'll be some on screen right now probably. And yeah, they'll convert to a 1/4 inch jack like that, and we can run those into there like that. That's our left and right. That's one way to do it. And if your DJ decks have 1/4 inch, you can just go 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch. When I use RCAs, I don't actually use jack converters. I tend to use send and returns. On this, it's called the 2-track. Now, people get scared of send and returns because they don't really know what they do. But essentially, you can send something from the mixer to an external unit and bring it back in here and then mix it into your channel. You don't have to use it for that. You can also use it as another input channel, which is a great workaround, especially for low-end gear like this. Red to red, white to white, out the back of the DJ decks. We're gonna go in. We want to go in. Don't go out because we're going into the mixer. That's pretty obvious. And there we go, we're connected up. So the thing with the send and return is to make sure you're sending that as an audio channel to the mixer. Each one is slightly different because this is a lower end one. It hasn't got all the functionality of a higher end mixer. There's a button that says to main mix. So we're gonna click that in, like that. And that means that anything that comes in here is going to be sent to the main mix and mixed with everything else in the channel. That comes in there, mixes everything else, and then we have right here our main mix out, and we just turn that up. There we go, and that's how we send to the speakers. We can also have headphone control right here if we need to, with a control room out and a phones out. If you want to get a little bit more fancy, you can always use a control room out, which is kind of like booth monitors. If your DJ decks don't have booth monitor outputs, you can do them here. Again, run to 2 speakers, keep them inside your booth, and there's your booth mix right there. You always have a separate booth mix or headphone mix to your main mix. So this is what everyone else hears. This is what you hear. You can always have this different. It's kind of like a PFL, but for booth monitors. If you don't want to use send and return, like I said, you can use an RCA to jack cable, come down the line, you then get all the functionality that you need. You get your EQs, your FX, your pan, and your gain, and you're all set. But this is ideal, and it's a really good price for what it can do. It also acts as an audio interface. This one actually has a USB-C function on the back right there. So we can be connecting this to our computer, so it can also act as an audio interface. One thing to note is that small mixers like this tend to not have phantom power, but it's rarely going to be an issue for anyone that's gigging or starting to gig. Phantom power is only to give microphones that need it the extra voltage to basically work. So it's not really a problem. I wouldn't worry about it too much when you're starting out. If you want to pick up one of these mixers, there'll be an affiliate link down below that you can go to if you want to support the channel and you feel like the mixer's one for you. There will be a link down below for that, so go and check it out. If you want me to do a follow-up video, which is more in depth and a little bit of a slower explanation, or you want me to do it with another set of DJ decks like my RX2 to show you a more professional output, I'm happy to do that. Let me know in the comments, but this should help most people out with starting your setup the right way. The biggest reason I think you should get an external mixer is because it's going to allow you to gain stage beautifully. So gain staging is where you set the gain at each point of your setup so you can create a really crisp, loud sound without ever clipping, and it means you're going to have the output at a certain point. If you just need to go a little bit louder, you can turn it up and you will not distort and you'll get a really clean signal. Gain staging is so hard to do when all you have is 2 trim dials and a master out. You want to be able to set those and then adjust the gains again in the mixer before sending it out. So that's why you need one. If you want to know how to gain stage properly and the walkthrough step by step on the best way to do it, check out this video right here. Did a full video on gain staging. It's a great technical breakdown. It's worth a watch if you're interested in setting up gear like this and getting a really crisp sound into a big sound system. So yeah, go and check it out right there on the screen.